In this video, I'm going to talk about the Surrender of Breda by Diego Velazquez, painted around 1635. It's at the Prada Museum in Madrid. Like all of my videos, I'm going to talk about a secret technique which I think master artists have used for centuries. I call it multi-referencing, when an artist takes parts from several works of art by another artist and incorporates these parts into a single artwork. Not to be dogmatic, this is only my opinion, but take a look and see if you agree. In Surrender of Breda, Diego Velazquez multi-referenced an artist named Paolo Uccello, in my opinion. And I'm going to show you some examples of this, but please keep in mind that I think that all of Uccello's work was multi-referenced. So I'm going to show you the Surrender of Breda side by side with Uccello paintings, and I'm going to show you where I think parts were referenced. This first painting that I want to look at is The Hunt in the Forest, painted in the 1470s by Paolo Uccello. It's at the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, England. Uccello's many thin, vertical dark brown tree trunks are referenced as the many vertical dark brown thin spears in Velazquez' The Surrender of Breda. The large war horses from The Hunt in the Forest are referenced by the large war horse on the right side of the Velazquez painting and another horse on the left side in the distance. Paolo Uccello's hunting man in a yellow coat holds a spear and rests it over his right shoulder, and in the Surrender of Breda on the left side of the painting we also see a man in a yellow coat with a spear leaning over his right shoulder. The heads of the two yellow dogs in Uccello's painting have the same color and shape as the yellow boots of the man accepting the surrender in Velazquez's painting. The white rear legs of the horse in Velazquez's painting have a similar white color and right foot at an angle like one of the hunters in Uccello's painting. The large war horse on the right in the Surrender of Breda shows its rear end toward the viewer, like a hunting dog and a deer in The Hunt in the Forest. Next, looking at Flood and Waters Subsiding, a detail of it, painted in 1446 to 1448 by Paolo Uccello. It's at the Basilica of Santa Maria Novella in Florence. Uccello's man in the lower foreground, with a checkered ring around his neck, is referenced by the checkers in the flag of the Surrender of Breda on the right side of Velazquez's painting. Uccello's same man with the club faces to the left with outstretched arms and with a dark-colored mohawk in his hair, and the Surrender of Breda has the man accepting the surrender in the center facing to the left with an outstretched right arm. Velazquez also painted a reference to the mohawk hair with a man wearing a curved dark hat just above the man with the outstretched arm. Diego Velazquez makes a subtle reference to the direction people are facing in Flood and Waters Subsiding with his Surrender at Breda painting. The people facing to the left are aggressors with clubs, and the people facing to the right are drowning and helpless, a metaphor with the Surrender of Breda, where the people on the left face to the right are helpless, and the people on the right in Surrender at Breda facing to the left are the dominant aggressors. References can make an excellent job of elaborating a story in an artwork, and I will show you more examples of this. Next is Creation of Adam, Animals, and Eve and the Original Sin, a detail, part of the entire picture, painted around 1430 by Paolo Uccello, also at the Basilica of Santa Maria Novella in Florence. Paolo Uccello painted God facing to the right, with his right arm bent and forward, and with his legs apart and with his back leg on tiptoe, and Diego Velazquez painted the man surrendering in the center as facing to the right with his right arm reaching forward with elbow bent and legs apart with his back leg on tiptoe. Velazquez may be saying that this man who is surrendering is a saint and gracious. Uccello painted Adam facing to the left and has his right arm extended forward. Velazquez painted the man receiving the surrender also facing to the left with his right arm extended forward. He may also have committed sins to arrive at this surrender ceremony. Uccello's Adam has his face at the same angle of view of at least 3 people on the right in Surrender of Breda. They may also have sinned. The tree behind Adam has a vertical thin trunk like the many vertical spears in Surrender of Breda. The tree in the upper left corner of the Uccello painting has a white center in the top with olive green color around it, making the leaves, and Velazquez referenced the white surrounded by the olive green in the background behind the smoke in the upper left area at Surrender of Breda. The bottom of Creation of Adam has a black and white alternating colors at the bottom of the painting, and Velazquez referenced this with his checkered flag. Next, looking at the fresco Birth of Mary of the frescoes in the Cathedral of Prato, painted by Paolo Uccello around 1435 to 1440. It's at Tuscany in central Italy. Many people in both paintings have their faces at the same angle of view. The maid kneeling in the lower left of Uccello's painting is facing to the right and has her right arm bent and extending forward, like Velazquez painted the man surrendering. Paolo Uccello painted a lady-in-waiting at the far right, rotating her head to look at the viewers of the painting, and Velazquez painted a man at the far left, rotating his head to also look directly at the viewers. And this is the decisive attack of Micheletto Attendolo at San Romano, painted in 1438 by Paolo Uccello. It's at the Louvre Museum in Paris. There are spears and war horses in both paintings, but I also want to draw your attention to Uccello's red spear on the left side. Diego Velazquez also painted a red spear at a similar angle in the left side of Surrender of Breda. Now looking at one of my favorite paintings, this is St. George and the Dragon, painted around 1456 by Paolo Uccello. It's at the National Gallery in London. St. George's lethal spear is at the same angle as the flag of the victorious army in Surrender of Breda. Uccello's dragon wing with the blue and white circles makes the same shape and angle up and to the right as Velazquez painted the smoke at a similar shape and angle. Diego Velazquez painted the man receiving the surrender holding a black hat, which makes a dark circle within a lighter circle, like the dragon wings in St. George and the Dragon. Velazquez may be saying that the conquering leader is a vicious beast, like the dragon. Now the final painting which I want to show you for comparison is Miracle of the Profaned Host, painted in 1465 to 1469 by Paolo Uccello. It's at the Galleria Nazionale del Marche in Urbino, Italy. Uccello has one person facing to the left and the other person facing to the right, like the two leaders in Velazquez's painting. Uccello's checkered floor is referenced by the checkered flag in Surrender of Breda. Uccello's ceiling has parallel thin slats like the many spears in the painting by Diego Velazquez. The red line of the robe of the person on the right in Miracle of the Profaned Host is like the red lines of spears in Surrender of Breda. And the final reference which I want to show you here is subtle, but I want to point it out because I think this device is often used as a reference by master artists. The dark red door on the right of the Uccello painting has a line of black next to it where the door is open. This is referenced by the line of the horsetail in Surrender of Breda, with black on one side and dark red on the other side. Diego Velazquez is sure to multi-reference a few other artists in Surrender of Breda. If you find another multi-referenced artist, please let me know in the comments. And as I said before, I also believe that Velazquez referenced small parts from all of Paolo Uccello's artworks, not just the art that I've shown you here. An excellent website for looking at more of Uccello's artwork and other art is wikimediacommons.com. I also have a free newsletter where I talk about tools for understanding and creating master art. I hope that you subscribe. Thank you for watching.